Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Sports Shorts Daily. Ronnie Rance alongside Tommy Chrysan as we are coming to you here on this morning edition of what is today, Tommy? I'm losing
Friday.
my mind. Wednesday.
Friday. Today's Friday.
Today's Friday.
We had Lynn Rollins on Wednesday. He did a great job.
By the way, today's Friday. I've just skipped ahead from Monday to Friday. What happened this week? My goodness, that's how Alzheimer's and all that begins. Before we go to Friday, where we're today, of course, talking a little LSU baseball, a rare Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday series. You don't see that very often. But everything's different about LSU baseball schedule this year. 2:00 games, Monday games. I mean, it's weird. But before we talk about that, the Pellies are playing 3 out of 4 nights at home. They had a big win last night against the Rockets. I'll be there tonight as they take on the Heat. It's Miami Heat tonight. But before we get to that, let's talk about Lynn Rollins and you guys on Wednesday. How did it go with old Lynn Rollins? I'm impressed that he knew how to operate the laptop. That's always tricky with Lynn. He's in his 70s. He's old school. He still has a flip phone. So how did it go?
Well, it did take a little longer to get him connected than you might think. And we were on the phone and looking, and I'm rebooting, and he's rebooting, and we finally got it done. But Lynn was outstanding on, his analysis of LSU baseball. I told him that I've been making a huge mistake for like 4 years. I thought NIL stood for name, image, and likeness. I learned over the weekend it stood for not interested Lynn. So he didn't know that was coming, and he got a big kick out of that one. And we had a really good show, got a lot of positive feedback. A lot of people watched it. A lot of people watched it later that day, as that does happen. So it was really good. I enjoyed being with Lynn as always.
A lot has happened this week in the world of sports here in the Baton Rouge area where we are. Of course, Tommy's over at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood, and as he always is on Wednesdays and Fridays. And of course, I am in an undisclosed location for real, presented by the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. Just had a big meeting this morning, benefiting Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. And then, of course, LeBears is our title sponsor. A lot going on in LeBears tonight, Friday night, Saturday night. Lots of live music, great stuff over at the Edge Lounge on the casino floor at LeBears. But
Ronnie, I gotta bring up something that has been getting a lot of traction. Okay, and I asked Jay Johnson last week about the daytime games, and his response was, with the unpredictable weather, it gives us the best chance to get our games in. We don't want to lose any games. There's a lot of reasons they want to play. Well, then, like yesterday, okay, it's a 2:00 game. There might have been 1,800 people in the park, maybe, and what about people who are like pushing back on this? Like, what about all the season ticket holders that spend a lot of money and they can't go to a 2:00 game? Okay, they can go to 7 or 6:30, and the stadium was very empty yesterday. Okay, it's going to be very empty. Maybe a few more people today, but it's what Jay Johnson wants to do. But somewhere you got to say, well, wait a minute, what about the fans who are spending all this money? I was in a lot of conversations this week about that particular topic. And I know you and I have talked about it, and Jay Johnson talked about it at his presser before game one. But the weather's like perfect this week. I guess it's too late to say, well, okay, we'll play at 7 because we know weather's not an issue. Your thoughts, Ron?
I don't particularly like it. But I'll say this, LSU baseball has hardly gone up on the price of its tickets since they built the new stadium in 2009. I mean, I can't honestly say what they've gone up to, but minimal. It's still a super inexpensive ticket relative to football. You got 35 plus home games, and when you divide it out, what you pay for your ticket, it's a super good value. And I think because of that, they feel okay with some fans not being able to make it, Tommy. I think unfortunately that's our program is big enough. This is the choice that our leader has made. It's a handful of games that it really affects. I mean, and the reality is it's a handful. It's a Monday, it's a Thursday and a Friday. Once they get to next week, I don't think they play any more day. I think this is the last of the day games this week, I believe. So it's 3 or 4 games really that it makes a difference in. And I think they're saying, hey, the average LSU fan is not going to be upset over 3 or 4 games that it's going to put them out.
Well, and the other thing from a money standpoint, the last time I read the numbers, I think the LSU knows that the average person spends $22 at a baseball game. That's the average. Some people spend more, some people don't. Well, if 5,000 people aren't there spending $22, that's $100,000. That's a lot of money. So, I mean, I don't know. I guess they have their reasons, but there's been a little pushback. But you make the good point. This isn't going to be all season long. Kind of like when you make the point, hey, people, get out to the LSU football game. There's only 7 home games. Make time to do it. Or if but not everybody can get off of work, go to a 2 o'clock baseball game on a Thursday. I get that, and I feel for those people. But I guess it's part of it. Just like when you buy season tickets for LSU football, you're going to get the Bama game, but you're going to get the Western Carolina New Mexico game. Yeah, So I mean, I guess it is what it is.
Yeah, and like I said, I want to say if I looked at the schedule, Tommy, we're talking about the opening day and Monday, and then we're talking about Thursday, Friday of this week. I think that's the only, normal 6 o'clock, 6:30 games that are being played during the day. Like I said, it's 4 or 5 games that it's affecting. So that would normally be at night that are being, midweek, or that would, during the week that would be played during the day. So I think, hey, they're going to play 30 plus home games. It's 4 or 5 of them that it matters. The ticket prices have hardly gone up in 15 years. So I think they're just okay with it. I don't like it, but it is what it is. But let's talk about LSU basketball for a minute. I want to give them props. LSU men's basketball is 6-7. They only won 2 games last year. They went 2-16 last year in the league. The over/under in Vegas was 4.5 wins this year for the basketball team in SEC play. They've now gotten 6 with 5 to go. So obviously they hit the over. Wednesday's win against Kentucky, albeit it's not a top 10 Kentucky team, all that, but 18-8 overall, 8-5 in the conference. That's what Kentucky is now after this game. But still Kentucky. It's like LSU baseball. No matter how good they are, you're going to win against LSU baseball. It's something. Whether it's a national championship team or a team that barely makes the playoffs, it is what it is. Big win for LSU at home. In my mind, hear me out, Tommy. In my mind, this was McMahon's bring back the magic win. This was Jerry DiNardo against Auburn in 1995 when they beat them, brought back the magic to Tiger Stadium, and the program started trending in the right direction and went to 3 straight bowl games. To me, this felt like it was McMahon's fork in the road, bring back the magic game. They won it. They're now 6-7, and we can clear. And they've had 3 games in a row where they were down 15, 20 points in the second half and came back, lost by 2 and won 2 of them. I think that this basketball team, we can clearly say the program is headed in the right direction. Do you agree?
I do agree. And I watched that game the other night. Kentucky was up 9.5, came out and hit 2 threes to go up 15 quickly at the start of the second half. And LSU found a way to win. The great putback shot at the end. It was exciting, and it was a win. After their road win against Carolina, they beat 2 ranked teams in a row. Carolina on the road, Kentucky at home. You're right. I think this is the one we'll look back on if LSU starts doing big things in the future. We'll go back to the Kentucky game, in Baton Rouge in late February as a point when it maybe began trending in the right direction. And they had a good crowd the other night. So, and now, of course, they'll host Mississippi State this Saturday night. State's, man, so been inconsistent, kind of like Kentucky. So, pack the PMAC Saturday night and see if LSU men can get, another win in conference play, which, they've exceeded expectations already, as you pointed out.
The fans stormed the court.
Cost LSU $100,000.
They'll pay it every time, right? For a big win like that at home. But how about this, Tommy? There was a game in mid-December when the students were in school. I can't remember, and they were playing, a nobody, where there were, as far as attendance, as far as people in the stands, there were, and this is not an exaggeration, under 1,000 for sure. And being a Rougarou owner, I know what 400 or 500 people at a game looks like. There was 500, 800 people as far as bodies in the stands at this game in mid-December. And to go from that to where they are now, where people are storming the court and it wasn't a sellout, but they had thousands of people there. And maybe this Saturday it might be close to a sellout. Like that's impressive what's happened in 2 months.
No question about it. And it's, you got to give Matt McMahon credit. I mean, he's been focused since the day he got hired, and he had a lot of things that kept the progress from getting going with no guys on the roster at one point when he was first hired, and the transfers and the portal and all that stuff. So, he seems to have things going in the right direction. And it'll be, like everything else, what happens in the next game? Can they beat Mississippi State Saturday night in front of a big crowd? And then who knows what? I mean, that's what it's got to be. So good to see that for the men's basketball team.
Women won less. They didn't cover. They were a 20.5-point favorite. They won by 5 over Auburn. Remember, Auburn's the team that beat LSU on the road earlier this year. So clearly Auburn has LSU's number. They outscored them in the second half, but LSU got to win in advance. Another ho-hum performance by Van Leith, who's making, I don't know, estimations are she's making $1 million in NIL and stuff like that. I mean, she was 2 of 8, 7 points, 3 assists or something, or a couple rebounds. Like not another just night that's just not great for what's supposed to be your second best player on the team. She's been, to me, very disappointing. I know she's beloved by the fans, and she's, Kim Mulkey with ponytails. Everybody likes to make that comparison, but she ain't Kim Mulkey. I can assure you that. LSU baseball today, a big game because it's an opportunity for Thatcher Hurd to pitch. He's one of the very few people who I would say probably didn't have a successful outing last weekend. As far as his first outing of the year, first game of the year, it didn't go so well. He didn't exit on his own terms, so it's an opportunity for him to redeem himself today.
Yeah, very much so. They'll play Stony Brook. Stony Brook playing right now. It was about 5 minutes against Northwestern State. So, he's going to get out there at 2 o'clock scheduled start, and he's got to perform better than he did the other night. And we talked about it. Don't read too much into, a pitcher's one performance or first performance of the year, good or bad. Don't read a lot into it. It takes time to get a good assessment. But it's important for her. I don't know if he's going to feel any pressure. You just got to relax, and keep breathing and execute the pitch that's called, and then take it from there. I mean, Stony Brook's not a great team, so you just got to don't worry about Stony Brook if you're Thatcher Hurd. Worry about commanding the pitches and executing the pitches that are called by the coach.
I would love to see Thatcher Hurd, who I thought maybe got a little too much breaking ball heavy. I mean, his breaking ball is really his best pitch in theory. But I mean, the guy throws 94 to 97 miles an hour. No disrespect to Stony Brook. This is not the Stony Brook of 10, 11 years ago. If he can just command the zone, if I'm trying to throw the outside corner, kind of hit it, kind of throw it over there at 95 miles an hour, that should be plenty good enough. So I'd like to see his command be better. To me, he's his own worst enemy, has good stuff, but the command isn't always there. What I mean by that is, he might be 95, but if it's 95 belt high down the middle, when your intention was to throw it off the plate or throw it on the corner or throw it inside and you miss down the middle, well, then, he gets hit probably a little more than most people that throw 95, 96 do. So, something to see today. Braswell hit a homer. The South Carolina transfer had a very slow first weekend, had a big 3-run homer for him yesterday. That was a big moment for that young man. Who else shined yesterday in LSU's victory?
Well, Braswell and Pearson hit home runs. They played defense pretty well. So I think, it was a game. It was, they were up early, like 9-2 after 3 innings, and it just cruised on to a 10-2 win. I didn't see the whole game like I did last week. I saw all the games. But, we'll see what happens today.
But I tell you what, Tommy, that was big for Josh Pearson and Braswell because both of them are middle, infielders that were below 250 hitters a year ago, that got off to slow starts the first weekend, that if there are question marks about this year's team, it's, will Braswell hit enough to stay at shortstop? Will Pearson play a good enough defense to stay at second? And will his batting average, get back up to around 300 where he was as a freshman, not where he ended up as a sophomore? So there's questions on both of them. and for them to both have a good game and hit a homer yesterday, that goes a long way in their confidence. And obviously, as you know, baseball is so much about confidence. So Tigers back in action this afternoon. We'll be all over it, and we'll talk plenty about it tomorrow morning on Sports Shorts Radio, which will be 10 to noon over at LeBear's Casino. We'll be in the sports book, and we'll tell you about the lines and stuff for the games. If you want to bet on some college baseball, some college basketball, Hunter McCann will have that for you tomorrow on Sports Shorts Radio. Today, of course, Thatcher Hurd will get the ball 2 o'clock, TK?
Yeah, 2 o'clock first pitch today, Saturday and Sundays, 1 o'clock. So, yeah, Thatcher Hurd on the bump, 2 o'clock scheduled first pitch. Now, there's a game going on. We're going to start in a few minutes here.
A good move.
So if you had some kind of extra inning thing or whatever, weather's not an issue, but if you had some kind of extra inning or a game that just drug on, it's possible it doesn't start on time. Just follow social media. LSU will keep everybody posted.
Pelly's in action last night, Tommy. I was at the game. Pell's easy cruise to a big win over the Houston Rockets at home. I'm always surprised. I was surprised Zion Williamson played in that game, even though the Pelicans were up 20 points pretty much the entire game, at least, third quarter on. They were up 20 points with, 25 points. They were up, I think, at one point with like 7.5 minutes to go. But yet Zion Williamson stayed in the game and played until about the 2-minute mark, and then they sat him. I thought that was interesting because with Zion, with his injuries and his history and the fact that the Pels played again tonight at home and then they play Sunday at home, I would have thought they would have sat him and rested him. But I guess in the NBA, no lead is safe.
Well, I bet the Pelicans last night, and I'm betting the Heat tonight. So we'll see. I got that one right last night. I got the Heat on the money line plus $1.30. Pelicans are a 3.5-point favorite, but I'm just thinking the back-to-back thing. The Heat aren't a bad team. They're middle of the road, in the same category as the Pelicans. So I'm just playing a hunch and, on that back-to-back home thing. And Pelicans have won 4 straight. I don't know if you can get to 5 straight.
What was the line last night on the Pels?
6.5. I laid 6.5.
No, you weren't sweating at all. You had that one.
I was in the rocking chair in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm. That was big time. By the way, Baton Rouge Rougarou just had a meeting with Raising Cane's. They're back on board being one of our big time presenting sponsors. They'll be on the jersey and all that kind of stuff. Baton Rouge Rougarou, we are less than 100 days away, Tommy. Less than 100 days away to the start of Baton Rouge Rougarou season. Go to brrougarou.com. You can get your season tickets. How about this? $100 for a season ticket that gets you and a guest into the games. We have 24 regular season home games. So you and a guest go into the games, all of them, for $100. I don't know about you, but my Menard High math tells me that's a little bit over $2 a ticket. You can't get anything for $2 anymore these days, but yet you can get into a Rougarou game if you get the $100 season ticket. That's good for you and a guest. So go to brrougarou.com. We also have some really cool swag. We got some new T-shirts got some new hats that we're going to be displaying in a couple of weeks. So excited about where we're headed in the direction. And look for the Rougarou and the St. Patrick's Day Parade. We'll be on the float with Hiller Moore, the district attorney for the city of Baton Rouge. Will be wrapped on the float. You'll see decorations. Rougarou workers will be walking in their Rougarou jerseys, handing out pocket schedules. We'll be throwing Rougarou beads. A mascot Roo will be on the float. That is going to be for the St. Patrick's Day Parade. And we'll be at Uncle Earl's as well, where they have the big Earl-a-Palooza, T.I., Luke Skywalker and the gang's going to be there. It's going to be a 2 Live Crew. Going to be a pretty good concert going on that afternoon. I know Tommy has no idea who T.I. and 2 Live Crew is, but looking forward to that. That's the 16th of March for St. Patrick's Day.
Sounds good, Ronnie. I'm ready for all of that. Not that far away, and I'm ready for the Rougarou. Got my shirt on today. One of them. I have many, and looking forward to it. May 30th. It's not that far away when the new Lake Charles team will be in Baton Rouge. Right. So looking forward to that.
TK, I'm gonna jump off. I'm gonna let you wrap up, and we'll see everybody. We'll see everybody tomorrow morning for more Sports Shorts Radio, 10 to noon on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. We'll be live from the sportsbook inside LeBear's Casino.
All right, Ronnie, and don't forget Tremonti's Meat and Seafood. All your Lenten seafood needs, they got it here. Shrimp rolls. Going to have some crawfish today, but you need to call and reserve them. They will run out. They ran out on Tuesday. Okay, got the lunch special, the fried catfish with the etouffee on it. You can do the Lent thing. Plenty of stuff for the weekend. Your wine, your liquor, it's all here at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood. got a couple of special things coming up at Tremonti's. So connect on social media with Tremonti's Meat and Seafood, Facebook and Instagram, so you don't miss some specials coming up very soon here at Tremonti's. As Ronnie said, don't forget tomorrow, Sports Shorts Radio, 10 a.m. to 12 noon, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. We'll be live and in color from the Sportsbook at the La Bears Casino and Hotel in Baton Rouge. Hope everybody has a good Friday. Like and share this show. That helps us a lot. Like and share this show. Have a good day, everyone.